Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Miranda, and I am the Enchantress of Avalon. So, today's video is very special to me because it's actually going live on my birthday. And I'm one of those people who never stopped loving their birthday. I know that so many people fear their birthday. They don't like getting older as they get into adulthood. I never stopped loving mine. So I cannot wait to talk about birthdays in the fairy lifestyle with you today. But before that, I want to give my usual little updates and disclaimers, reminders that I give at the beginning of each video, that other than making YouTube videos, I run a website with a blog that I update daily, whiteroseofavalon.life, and I also provide metaphysical services through my site. I do tarot readings, I do channeled tarot readings with either fairy queens or mermaids. I do individual mentoring sessions, and I have online classes as well. Currently, I have no classes open for enrollment, but I'm always developing more classes. And I also have a Patreon, Avalonian Rose Fairy Mysteries, where you can get bonus content, different but in line with what I publish everywhere else. A little bit more depth to the blog posts and extra bonus exclusive blog posts, including rituals and spells. I do post that there for you to use, things that I've created, and change them for your own means, of course, because, you know, rituals and spells should be personal. And I also post meditations on my Patreon too. It's the only place that I post meditations other than meditations I do for my classes. So great if you're interested in any of that. And even if you don't want to become a member, on Patreon, I do have a little shop section, and I have 2 different sets of journal prompts, Celtic Venusian journal prompts, to help you get to know yourself a little bit better and get in tune with the Celtic Venus within. So you can purchase those without a membership. So without further ado, let's get into birthdays in the fairy lifestyle. So you may wonder what I mean by the fairy lifestyle if you're not as familiar with my other content, and especially with my website, because I have been posting blog posts in the fairy lifestyle section since I started my blog. Although originally I just called it the magical lifestyle, but I knew just saying, hey, it's the fairy lifestyle is much more accurate, as I had personally called it the fairy lifestyle in my day-to-day life when talking to friends and my husband for years. So I just changed it all over. Only about a year into my website, it changed over to the fairy lifestyle because it's just more fitting. And the fairy lifestyle is basically what I call my philosophy of living, how I live my life. It's more in tune with nature. It's a little bit more mystical and magical. And it's infusing the magical and the mystical even into the mundane life. And what's really great about the fairy lifestyle is you don't have to have some sort of knowing that you're connected to the fae realms, right? A lot of us know that we have fae blood, as I know. I've been told that by the fae that I work with. I also have talked about this a bit. I had a really profound Kundalini experience years ago that told me my soul origins as an incarnated mermaid, which I know it sounds wild, but I'm not the only one who has had this kind of experience. It felt great when I actually researched and found out I wasn't the only one to have that kind of experience. But in any case, you don't have to know that you're connected innately to the fae or the fae realms. You can embrace this type of life just because it's something that feels enjoyable to you, right? We don't have to say, oh, you have to be practicing with the fae in a magical or mystical or spiritual way, or that you have to believe in this realm necessarily. I mean, I do, but some people don't, and just like the idea of the Fae realm and idea of fairies and mermaids and other nature spirits, because fairy is a very broad term and encompasses so much. So no matter what, you can embrace the fairy lifestyle as long as you just have that desire to live life a little bit more in tune with nature and a lot more magical. So why are birthdays really something I think should be celebrated and embraced on the fairy lifestyle path? Like, why not fear aging, or, you know, fear that you've not accomplished enough? These are things that kind of keep us, I think, mired for a lot of adults. I hear them talk about, well, I'm another year older, but I haven't done X, Y, and Z thing. Why not look at what you have done? That's why one of my favorite things to do every year around my birthday is I journal a lot. Well, I journal a lot in general, but this is just one of my journals. I will be spending part of my birthday journaling. I always do. And I talk about what I've done in the past year, how much I have accomplished in the past year, looking back and thinking, oh, hey, you know what? I did all of these things I've never done before, or I've continued on this journey to maybe learning something new, studying something new, made a connection, met a person who has been really profound in my life. Maybe you fell in love over the past year. Maybe you met someone who has become such a great friend. Maybe you've gotten to know a family member better that you didn't really know very well before. These are all really amazing things, and we shouldn't discount them. Just because maybe you weren't married by the time you thought you'd be, or had children by the time you thought you would, or got a promotion that you assumed you would get, that doesn't mean you haven't accomplished things. So gratitude, journaling and gratitude, big way to celebrate birthdays in the fairy lifestyle. And it's something I do every year because I want to always remember to be grateful for everything I've accomplished in the previous year. And I have accomplished a lot in the past year. I vended my first ever event at a pagan pride festival. So I was giving in-person tarot readings through my White Rose of Avalon LLC banner. And I got to meet a lot of other great vendors, and I got to perform readings for 13 amazing clients. That was so great. Although I had done other, tarot readings online, and I've done all these other things, I hadn't done that kind of event where people could just walk by and say, oh, hey, I'd like a reading. And seeing the in real time reactions and being there with them was amazing. Usually I do that with only like friends, family, old coworkers when I had a day job, but doing this for clients who were just going through and saying, oh, I want to see what Pagan Pride is all about, was really special. I also, in the past year, taught 2 live in-person herbal tea blending classes, which were little private events I did in conjunction with another metaphysical shop. Unfortunately, they've closed since, but I did that at the end of last December and beginning of January of this year. So that's amazing. Those are experiences I'd never had before, and their growth in my metaphysical business and in being a professional priestess. So that's amazing. Yeah, it's maybe not where I expected to be in my life, but it's better than what I expected in many ways. And I am deeply grateful for that. And then I'm deeply grateful for other things I've done on a more personal level over the past year. So approaching your birthday like that, I think, starts to show you the magic. And the fairies and the mermaids, they don't really care about aging so much. Some can say it's because they might be immortal. In some variants they are. But it's about believing that you can be beautiful at every age. And there's actually a really great selection, a really great entry in this book, which is by, it's edited by Caroline Turgeon. I do not know if I'm saying that right. But she's one of the editors of Faery magazine, which is now Enchanted Living magazine. They did change the name of the magazine. It's the editor. So her and Grace Newth, and then some other editors that aren't specifically cited. But this is a great little compendium of some of their early issues and early articles and things. And one of them is about fairy aging. And there's this gorgeous photo of this woman totally embracing her beauty, because we could be beautiful always. There are other photos of people of all ages embracing the beauty of the fae and the magic of the fae. You know, we see this fairy beauty at all ages, from young children to adult women to people who are up in age, because the beauty of fae does not know one single age. And I love that that's discussed in this book. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it even says there's no such thing as a woman who is too curvy, too old, too much or too little of anything to be beautiful. And for that, we admire them. And I love that. Yeah. And it is just so beautiful. And the book also has a lot of gorgeous fairy artwork from all throughout time. And then there's also this book that is the mermaid one, the Mermaid Handbook. And this one's specifically by Caroline Turgeon. She collected everything and edited this one by herself, I'm pretty sure. But again, we see all different eras, all different forms of beauty, doing the old mermaid movies. It's great. And I love that. I do highly recommend both of those books to kind of get into the vibe. There's some great little articles. There's craft activities. There's all sorts of things. They're not as necessarily magical and mystical as just embracing the fairy lifestyle in a much more, I don't know if they say it like that, but embracing what I consider the fairy lifestyle in a much more overarching way and a much more simple way. It's not necessarily that you have to have that magical and spiritual connection. But if you want that, that's amazing. I know from experience how beautiful that is. But that's part of why, again, birthdays in the fairy lifestyle are meant to be celebrated, because age isn't something to fear. Age brings wisdom. There is so much beauty in the wisdom that we gain from age. And again, the fae are immortal and often completely beyond age, beyond time. It doesn't matter to them so much. As you can see, I don't know if you can really see her in the back, but I have my little Arwen Funko. So yeah, Arwen was a half elf. She was immortal and gave up her immortality. But needless to say, Arwen being this being that has been around for centuries, for millennia. Same thing with Galadriel, only even more so. So they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, but they're also ageless in many ways. And I think that that's another thing. Like, if we think of our birthdays as a day to celebrate all of the accomplishments we've done over the last year. This is our solar return. This is our time to celebrate ourselves, celebrate our accomplishments, and start planning what the next year of our life might look like. If we look at it like that, and we don't focus on the number so much, like, oh, I am turning this old. No, look at it as, look at how much I've done in the last year. Look at how much I can do in the future. I have created magical moments in my life over the past year. I will create more magical moments over the next. Let's enjoy the birthday. Let's enjoy this time to celebrate. And there's magic in birthdays. Our birthdays are so uniquely magical to us because they are our solar return, because they are that moment of, when we were born. There's deep magic there. We see this with astrological charts. That's why astrological charts are so important, is it's plotting things out. It's saying this is what was going on in the cosmos the moment you were born, and this is what can help you gain some knowledge. So there's a lot of beauty to that. And even little minor birthday traditions that we have are very much so having a little magical edge to them. For instance, blowing out birthday candles. Most of us have done that. A lot of us do it every year. Someone brings out a cake, it's full of candles, you blow them out and make a wish. That is magic. I like to add a little bit more mystic and magic to this. Oftentimes I'll do forms of candle magic where I'm, carving intentions to my candle and then burning even more intentions and letting the candle burn all the way down. So I'm not blowing out the candle to make my wish. I'm in fact infusing my wishes within the candle. And it's very potent, and it's a great way to set an intention for the year to come. Even if you just do a regular birthday candle and blow it out on a cake or a cupcake or something and say, I wish for this one big overarching theme for my year. That is sending out that intention to the universe, and it is magical. So yeah, I know people fear their birthdays. I've said that a lot in this video, but I've never feared my birthday. I've never looked at getting older as necessarily a bad thing or something to be scared of. I've looked at it as something like, okay, this is where I've come from. This is all the things I've done over the past year. These are the things I want to do. Will I succeed at everything? Probably not. But I'll succeed at some of it. And I'll learn so many lessons along the way. Because, again, aging brings wisdom. And wisdom comes more profoundly from where we fail than from where we succeed. So, yeah. Enjoy the ride. Celebrate yourself on your birthday. If you want to live a little bit more fairy. Yeah. I know that not everyone is going to be for this kind of birthday, but I think it's something that a lot of people might benefit from just trying out. Try out approaching your birthday with gratitude and joy, and approaching the next year that's coming with hope and maybe a little optimism. I find that it helps me so much to just think of things more optimistically and say, yeah, I have succeeded in some ways, I failed in some ways, but I am in a place where I have learned so much. Like I said, maybe journal out like I do. what you've learned over the past year, what you've experienced, what you're proud of, maybe a setback that you had that you're looking to make some progress in over the next year. What are you planning to do over the next year? Because again, it's a powerfully magical time for each of us, our birthday, whenever it falls, because it is that really alchemical moment in our life. The day that we're born is alchemical and magical. So yeah, maybe even just write down a short list of intentions or wishes that you would like to have happen over the next year of your life. But again, always remember to be grateful for your progress, and even grateful for where you failed, because our failures are nothing more, nothing less than learning experiences. So I do hope you have enjoyed this short video looking at the magic of birthdays and birthdays in the fairy lifestyle. And I hope it inspires you to maybe look at your birthday as a more joyful time than you might have otherwise thought it was. And again, I hope it inspires you to be grateful for all that you've accomplished, because you've probably accomplished more in the previous year of your life than you thought you did when you really look back and reflect on it. So have a very wonderful day, everyone, and I will see you in the next video.